The secretary bird, also known as the Sagittarius serpentarius, is a sizable, primarily terrestrial bird of prey. It is endemic to Africa and often inhabits the broad grasslands and savanna of the sub-Saharan region. In 1779, John Frederick Miller wrote a description of the species, although it belongs to the Accipitriformes order, which also includes many other diurnal birds of prey, including kites, hawks, vultures, and harriers. It is given its own family, Sagittariidae. Hello everyone and welcome back to Unveiling Wild. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on wildlife and their habitat. With that being said, let's get started. The secretary bird stands up to 1.3 meters tall and is immediately recognizable as a very large bird with an eagle-like body on crane-like legs, 4 feet 3 inches. The two sexes look identical to one another. Adults have mostly gray plumage with a flattened dark crest, black flight feathers, and a featherless red-orange face. So where can you find them? And are they dangerous to humans too? And at what time do they breed? Breeding can occur at any time of year, but it usually happens around the conclusion of the dry season. A clutch of 1 to 3 eggs is laid in the nest, which is erected at the top of a thorny tree. When food is plentiful, all 3 of the young can live to be fledglings. On the ground, the secretary bird seeks food and stomps on its prey to kill it. Its food consists of tiny animals and insects. Despite the secretary bird's widespread distribution, localized studies findings indicate that the population as a whole is rapidly declining, most likely due to habitat loss. The International Union for Conservation of Nature so categorizes the species as endangered. It can be seen on the Sudanese and South African coats of arms, based on a live specimen that had been transported to Holland from the Cape of Good Hope 2 years prior by a representative of the Dutch East India Company. The secretary bird was first described by the Dutch naturalist Arnoud Vosmaer in 1769. According to Vosmaer, the Dutch settlers gave the animal the name Sagittarius because they believed its gait resembled an archer's. He also said that farmers had cultivated the bird to fight pests around their homesteads and suggested that the name secretaries might be a corruption of Sagittarius. Farmers had domesticated the bird to fight bugs, instead of the other way around. Ian Glenn of the University of the Free State contends that Vosmaer's Sagittarius is a mistaken or incorrect form of secretaries. 2 Pelargopapus species are the earliest fossils connected to the family. The 2 species, which date back to the Oligocene and Miocene periods, were found in France. These fossils' feet resemble those of the Accipitridae more. It has been hypothesized that these traits represent basal traits of the family. Despite their age, it is not believed that the 2 species are related to the secretary bird. The extinct Raptoropata sagittarius is believed to be Accipitride despite having striking similarities to the contemporary secretary bird, a very large terrestrial bird with an eagle-like head and a body on crane-like legs. The secretary bird is easily recognized. Its height is approximately 1.3 m, 4 feet 3 inches. Its length ranges from 1.1 to 1.5 meters, 3 feet 7 to 4 feet 11 inches, and its wingspan ranges from 1.9 to 2.1 meters, 6 feet 3 inches and 6 feet 11 inches. The weight is between 8.2 and 9.4 pounds and 3.74 to 4.27 kilograms, with a mean of 4.05 kilograms, 8.9 pounds. The typical tarsus measures 31 centimeters, 12 inches, while the tail ranges from 57 to 85 centimeters, 22 to 33 inches, making it both higher and longer than any other raptor species. 2 of the tail's center, long feathers extend past the bird's feet as it is flying, and its neck spreads out like a stork. The underparts and underwing coverts are lighter grays to gray-white, while the crown, upper parts, lesser, and middle wing coverts are blue-gray. Long black feathers that grow from the nape form the crest. The upper tail coverts are white, though some individuals have black bars along the white portions of their coverts. The scapulars, primary and secondary flight feathers, rump, and thighs are all black. The tail is wedge-shaped and has 2 broad black bands, one at the base and the other at the end, along with white tipping, marbling in shades of gray and black, and a white base. Even though the male tends to have larger tail feathers, more head plumes, a shorter head, and more blue-gray plumage, the sexes are similar. Adults have a reddish-orange face without feathers, light brown eyes, and a yellow cere. The upper legs are covered in black feathers, and the legs and feet are pinkish grays. The bird can't use its feet to hold items because of its small, sturdy toes, which are only around 20%, as long as those of an eagle of the same size. The three toes facing forward are joined at the base by a little web, and the rear toe is minuscule. Young birds have shorter tail feathers, more brownish plumage and yellow, rather than orange bare skin on their faces. They also have grayish, rather than brown irises. Adults are usually silent, but during nuptial displays, or when it nests, they may make a strong guttural croaking sound. When welcoming their partners, displaying menace, or engaging in combat with other birds, secretary birds produce this sound, occasionally tossing their heads back at the same time. The secretary bird can make a high-pitched croak when startled. At the nest, paired birds cluck or whistle softly. For the first 30 days, chicks produce a piercing sound that is heard as chee-kay-chee-kay-chee-kay. The secretary bird is a resident of sub-Saharan Africa and is typically non-migratory, though it may move around locally if there has been a lot of rain or if the prey is abundant. Its range extends southward to the western Cape of South Africa, from Senegal and northward to Somaliland. Additionally, the species can be found at a range of altitudes, from the highlands to the coastal plains. The secretary bird favors wide grasslands, savannas and shrubland, Karoo, against forests and dense shrubbery, which could obstruct its cursorial existence. Except for partnerships in their young, secretary birds are not social creatures in general. They typically nest in acacia or balanitis trees, or South African introduced pine trees. They leave between 1 and 2 hours after sunrise, usually after some time spent grooming. Mated pairs often stay inside of one another. When foraging individually, however, they may roost together. They move at a pace of 120 steps per minute on average, traveling at a speed of 2.5-3 km per hour, 1.6-1.9 miles per hour. Secretary birds return after dusk after spending the majority of the day on the ground, traveling downwind before flying and upwind. Male birds observed alone are frequently unattached, and their territories are typically found in less favorable locations. Male unattached birds are frequently observed single, and they typically have less favorable territories. On the other hand, bigger groups of up to 50 people might be present at a location with a specific resource, like a waterhole in a dry area or a swarm of rats or locusts escaping a fire. To deal with turbulence, secretary birds fly with their primary feathers spread wide. Their wings can flap, but only slowly and laboriously, and only with a plift. Otherwise, they risk exhaustion. They employ thermals to ascend to 3,800 meters, 12,500 feet, above the ground during the stifling summer heat. The estimated lifespan is 10 to 15 years in the wild, with the oldest proven by bands to be 5 years from a nestling banded on July 23, 2011, in Bloemfontein and found on June 7, 2016, in Mpumalanga, and up to 19 years in captivity. Like other birds, secretary birds contain blood parasites called Leucocitozoon boroperidias 1954, which were first discovered in Mozambique. Hepatozoon Ellis grainer, a genus of avian hematozoa that is unique among avian hematozoa in maturing within granulocytes, primarily heterophils, has been discovered in wild birds from Tanzania. Both sexes construct the nest at the top of a tall, thorny tree, frequently an acacia, between 2.5 and 13 meters, 8 and 40 feet, above the ground. The nest is made of relatively flat sticks, about 1.0-1.5 meters, 3-5 feet, broad and 30-50 centimeters, 12-20 inches, deep. Grass and the occasional manure particle line the shallow dip. Until the clutch of 1-3 eggs is finished, eggs are laid every 2 to 3 days. The elongated, chalky, bluish-green or white eggs are 130 grams in weight and measure 78 by 57 millimeters, 3.1 inches by 2.2 inches. Beginning as soon as the first egg is laid, both parents begin incubating the eggs. So what do you think about them? Are they important for the ecology? What if they got endangered then? What about snakes? Well, this brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, do like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful content from us. We'll see you at the next one. Until then, peace